Lost on the weekend in Philly against Drexel. Jenna Renault heads our officiating crew, set to get it tipped off with Jeff Woodward of the Raiders, Donnie Freeman of the Cuse, and it's Colgate to get the game's first possession. Jalen Cox ascended into the point guard role the second half of last year. This is the team that has to replace the great Braden Smith. He's transferred to Gonzaga. Early three-point shot for Parker Jones. He won't miss many of those. And Chris Bell with the early rebound.
Yeah, I think it's just important for Syracuse to get off to a strong start, defensively, but offensively as well. Execute in the half court, get good looks, good opportunities, and be able to knock them down when they do.
Orange used the same lineup as they did in the opener, a 4-point win against the Dolphins. Front ribbon in on the first shot of the day for J.J. Starling.
Good sign.
And it's the Cuse in the lead.
Good sign early for Syracuse, J.J. Starling. I think he's the guy that really has to be the alpha male on this team, a guy that could get to the bucket and also hit it in the mid-range.
Parker Jones is probably the best shooter on the floor for Colgate. 25 in red, calls his own number again. Long ricochet here, and Starling starts the break with Lampkin, but a turnover. Jaquan Carlos, the lone man back, and a block is called on him. He had foul trouble in game one.
Yeah, I mean, this right here is what is going to keep Colgate in the game. Sloppy by Syracuse, turning it over and getting easy opportunity, transition opportunities for Colgate. Syracuse has to be able to clean that stuff up.
Brady Cummins to the line, junior from York, Maine. Cummins, a part-time starter a year ago, 18 games. Colgate made the tournament again, as they seemingly always do. Don't want to take it for granted. In a one-bid league, they are the class of the Patriot League, but you still got to do it in that conference tournament in March, as they have 5 of the last 6 years and 4 in a row.
Matt, they're coming in here winning 2 of the last 3 meetings, and they're up 20-plus points last year. Obviously, Syracuse came back with an unbelievable run, but they're coming in confident, and they're ready to play.
Cummins off the mark twice, and Tony Henderson has a foul in the rebounding action against Parker Jones. Matt Langle has had overtures from other programs. Every offseason you think maybe he goes. He loves it in Hamilton. He and his family very secure there, very successful. Langle in his 14th year, and he's been coach of the year in conference in nearly half of them. No preseason player of the year in the Patriot League this year for Colgate. That's a rarity. Long range attempt by Nicholas Louis Jacques is short. Both teams a little tight again here at the start.
Yeah, Matt, we talked to Coach Langle yesterday, and just a lot of guys who haven't played these type of roles, haven't played these bigger minutes. So I think, as they settle into their roles, they'll be more confident playing out here.
Woodward held his ground against Lampkin, but then a foul. Teddy Valentine, the veteran, also on this officiating crew. Lampkin and Woodward is a matchup we expect to see going one-on-one all night.
Yeah, two big bodies going at each other right now, crashing against each other, and that's what Eddie has to do. Just be physical down there. When he gets the ball that low, just go up and try to finish.
Apparently a non-shooting foul, which is news to Eddie. How do you feel about the 1 orange and 1 blue shoe look that 44 has?
When I played, whatever they gave me, it was free. That's what I was wearing, man. So, I mean, he
usually give them to you in pairs, though, right? In matching sets.
Exactly.
Freeman hits the shot. Have to check with our man Danny Swirls on that, see if that is intentional. Obviously, it's intentional what he's wearing, but is he taking from 2 sets, or is that how it's supposed to be?
Shout out to Swirls, man. One of the best equipment managers in the country.
Louis Jacques with the spin move gets Bell in the air, and the quick ball movement tees up Jones. Long shot, long rebound, run down by Donnie Freeman, who had a double-double in the season opener a week and a day ago. Lampkin lost the ball over the baseline, stays with Syracuse. So 1 blue, 1 orange. Same makeup shoe by my untrained eye. Quick trigger for J.J. Starling, and he bags it. Yeah. 5 early points for Starling.
Yeah, it's just good to see J.J. come out and be aggressive. I mean, he's the guy that really has to be the alpha on this team. When they need a bucket, I think they could go to J.J., and it's good to see him getting going early.
This tightness, the idea of Jalen Cox here, an unforced error with a turnover dribbling off his own foot. That's really the overall takeaway from the Lemoyne game. Everybody's kind of nervous, tight, just nothing seemed to go smoothly. And in this sort of reopening of the season, you expect a little better than that, a little more comfort. But again, both teams, and J.J. Starling not exempt as a veteran player. He dribbles off his own foot.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. When they do get tight, when they do get in those tough situations, who's going to be the guy to bring them out of that, you know? And I think JJ is more than capable, and he's showing it early on despite the turnover.
Colgate runs its offense through Woodward, although he hasn't touched it here. Good screen setter and passer. Brady Cummins on the floater. He's got it for the first points for the Raiders.
Yeah, like you said, Woodward did a good job of just using his body, coming off the handoff. Cummins did a good job just curling it and, you know, getting into the lane with a floater.
Carlos on a clear out, and his pass intended for Lampkin is kicked. Side out for Syracuse. Carlos in particular is somebody who maybe wants to have a better showing here in game 2. Freeman for 3. Uncontested rebound goes Colgate's way.
Yeah, speaking of Carlos, I think he's a guy who just has to be able to keep the defense honest, you know, on both sides. He's obviously a good passer, but he has to be able to look to score the ball as well.
Jalen Cox straight to the goal, and it's 4 points in a row for the visitors. Lampkin, another excellent passer, so 2 big guys not afraid to come away from the basket, move the ball around. Neither are three-point shooters, though. Sloppy, picked up by Carlos for Starling again. Almost an air ball, and it is out of bounds on its own. Another empty trip.
Yeah, just a tough pass right there by JJ. Just not getting enough space off the pick and roll, throwing it at his feet. If you're going to throw it to the big man, throw it up where he can go get it, and it's away from everybody else.
Defense picking up in the backcourt. Now into Woodward. Good game down around the basket. Once more physical with Lampkin. Shot clock at 10. Stymied by the rim, and Bell with his second rebound starts the break. Lampkin turns to face. Yeah, they're getting it going, those two. Lampkin wins this battle against Woodward for his first points.
And you see him shaking his head a little bit, but that's what you do. You size him up, then you go at his chest, and you finish it at the rim. Good finish by Lampkin.
Freeman down the middle. On the fadeaway. Cox, no hesitation. Jair Davis, a double-double in game 1, is the first to the scorers table for either team. Cox has got it from the right side of the lane.
You see the matchup right there with, you know, Freeman guard number 5. And that's something that Colgate's going to be able to look to take advantage of, knowing that, you know, Freeman struggled guarding outside last game versus Lemoyne.
Freeman posting up the smaller Parker Jones. He's getting a hard time sticking with him. And a nice move by Freeman to get to the rack.
You know, he's just so talented. He's so, you know, for a freshman, he's so versatile. He can do so much, but you really want to see him lock in on this side of the floor.
Cox against the bigger Lampkin, banks one in. Cox is pretty crafty.
Yeah, he's athletic. He's crafty. He's a good defender. I mean, he's gonna be really good in conference play for Colgate.
Lampkin again at 15 feet, draws a double. Cross court, and could have been picked off, but Carlos almost had another bite at the apple there. Now it's 3-on-2 for Colgate. Cummins for 3. He's got it, and he's tied the game.
And it's the second sloppy turnover Syracuse had that led to transition and an easy bucket for Colgate. I mean, there was nobody cutting off the ball, and Eddie was just in the corner sitting by himself.
Not that good of a ball handler, right? That's a tough spot for anybody to be in. This one deflected into the backcourt. Lampkin, surrounded by 4 red jerseys, falls to the deck, couldn't get the ball over the rim. Counter strike for Cox, looking to take the lead, is bumped and a foul called against the Orange. Starling gets his first personal. So Syracuse had a comfortable lead, scoring the first 7, but Colgate's come back. We're tied early. Colgate ball here. They've come back from a 7-0 deficit to tie it. See what Coach Lango threw up on a baseline out of bounds. They're fronting Woodward with Jair Davis, the first sub of the game for Syracuse. Davis had a double-double in the opener against Lemoyne. Good drive to the basket against Davis by Parker Jones. Colgate's got the lead.
You know, great pass out by Woodward, but great job by Jones just attacking the closeout, getting straight to the rim, left-hand finish.
First lead of the game for the Raiders. Davis coming off 22 and 12 in game one. Chris Bell had a huge game against Colgate last year. His first shot today is a line drive off the mark. Cox is quick with the ball, Eric, and goes right to the rim. This one is blocked by Bell, who had a key defensive play closing out the Lemoyne win. Choppa Moore is in for the first time. Davis on the back down against the much smaller Cox. Fouled by Jeff Woodward, hit second already. That's where Woodward's going to have trouble.
Yeah, and I think that Davis just picking up right where he left off against Lemoyne, being that enforcer, being that type of guy, that role, going at his chest and just being strong, you know, trying to finish out of the rim, giving himself an opportunity for two at the line.
Davis's free throw no good. We'll let you know when somebody makes a free throw in the game.
If they struggled last game, man, I think they missed 11 free throws last game, and at practice yesterday they were working on it for 20 minutes at the end of practice. Everybody had to, before they left, had to make one, and it took longer than it should have.
Woodward out with the two, and Sam Wright is in for the first time. Davis does make the second of two.
Well, Colgate always has great offense, great ball movement, and you see what it ends up in an open opportunity for Jones, who knocks it down. But that's Coach Langle, man. He has his guys coming in here prepared, ready to play. They're going to execute on the offensive side of the ball, and they're going to lock in defensively.
Second three of the young season for Parker Jones. He knocked down 22 a year ago. Davis right of the lane, kicks opposite for Choppa Moore. Lampkin a one-handed board in traffic, just overpowering inside.
And just a great rebound right there by Lampkin, finishing. But a guy that you want to see get going a little bit is Choppa Moore, a freshman, a guy who could really light it up off the bench. It's good to see him, get an early opportunity. He'll knock those down.
Saw limited action in game one, yet to score in his college career. Cox with the floater. Lampkin tried to tip it to himself, and it's out of bounds to Syracuse as we head to another timeout. So the teams are still all trying to figure it out, getting settled in. Game 2 of the year for the Orange, number 3 for Colgate. Figured it out before the Patriot League schedule. Very daunting non-conference slate for Colgate this season. Syracuse ball trailing by 2.
See Colgate switching to a little 2-3 zone, a little old style Syracuse.
Give them a taste of their own medicine.
Exactly.
Shot clock at 8 for Bell's shot, partially blocked on the perimeter, coming into the hands of Jair Davis. And he ties the game.
Sometimes just being around the rim, being at the right place at the right time, drops right to him and just go up and finish.
Sam Wright, 33 in red, playing for Jeff Woodward, who has foul trouble at the moment. Little floater in the lane. Cummins got right there and couldn't get it over the rim.
And even though they're missing, they're getting into the paint every single time. Syracuse has to do a better job of moving their feet and keeping guys in front, not letting them get in the paint. Long range shot here is down the pipe for the improved shooter, Jair Davis. I tell you what, his confidence is sky high right now after having a 22-10 double-double game against Lemoyne. Coming out here against Colgate, starting inside, working his way out. Like right now, you got to get up and make him make a decision. You're just letting him look over the defense and doing anything that he wants to do.
Handoff here to Chandler Baker, maybe their top reserve, off the bracket, and Davis has the rebound in front of his teammate. Davis feeling it. This one wind blown and out of play to the far side. Colgate ball. Davis, a year ago at Delaware, not a spectacular three-point shooter, 26%, and he made 23s, but he hit 81% of his free throws, and the word is he's getting a better shot to where that can really be a threat for him.
Yeah, and again, I think he's a guy that really needs to impose his will, especially early on in the season against teams like this. You know, go in, work your way inside, and then you'll have those opportunities to knock down threes.
Kyle Carlissimo, his first action here in the Dome. This time around, that is, and the shot off the mark for Chandler Baker. Peter Majstorovic in the game for the first time for Syracuse, as is Lucas Taylor, 3 in white. Only one starter on the floor at the moment, that's J.J. Starling, and a foul line jumper is good for the first points of Elijah Moore's career.
And that's what they have to do. Just be aggressive, you know, attack your defender, see what they give you, and take advantage of that open opportunity.
The Orange are on a 9-0 run, stopped by that shot from Chandler Baker.
He's a guy who could just get going early and often. He's an excellent three-point shooter.
And Moore comes back to knock down another. Fans are still looking to see his celebration after a long-range shot goes in.
Can't trade baskets, though.
Right. Quick shot there, doesn't go for Sam Wright. Orange by 4. Moore getting a little mini run himself off the bracket. Taken down by Kyle Carlissimo on the other side.
And Matt, I just think Taylor's a guy who could really step it up defensively for the Syracuse team. He's versatile, he's athletic, and you see right here doing a good job of keeping it in front. He's a guy who could really ignite the Syracuse team defensively.
Lost the grip. It's a breakaway for Chapa. Moore elevates. Couldn't get it to go. A little off balance on the counter strike. Cox down the middle, gets by Majstorovic, puts it on the rim, and that's another time where the basket did not go in, but Colgate's getting what it wants. They're slashing through the Syracuse D.
Yeah, I mean, it's fortunate that those layups aren't dropping, but they're getting into the paint 2 feet every single time. Syracuse has to be able to lock in defensively and stop that.
See if Starling brings some stability here. Majstorovic from the corner. He's got it for 3. His first as a collegiate player in the States.
To be an effective guard at this level, you have to be able to create and make, meaning make shots for yourself, but create shots for your teammates. J.J. Starling doing a good job creating for Peter right there, hitting the corner 3.
Cox on pick and pop action. Extra pass to Baker, return to the sideline. Shot clock at 7. Good fake by Louis Jacques. Count it from 15. And a timeout there by Matt Langle. He's got all of his starters in the scorebook, but for Jeff Woodward, out with the foul trouble, and it's Colgate to call timeout to plan its next move. They've played a couple of different defenses. The Orange hitting from long range here. Moore and then Majstorovic. Louis Jacques answers. To play with a 5-point lead.
See Colgate bringing a little pressure of their own right here, trying to speed Syracuse up a little bit.
So token pressure shown by Colgate. J.J. Starling brings the ball up. Jaquan Carlos out of the game. Kyle Cuff is in for the first time. Cuff saw just a few seconds of action in the Lemoyne win. A little confusion here finding the early offense for the Orange. Lucas Taylor feeds Lampkin. Woodward has returned. Lampkin's liner doesn't go, but Davis powers it back to the bucket.
Just really like Davis' activity around the rim. He's being aggressive. He's going after the ball, and it's resulting in easy finishes at the rim for him.
Orange will experiment with lots of different lineups. Davis right now the most consistent performer in the first game and a half. Louis Jacques almost outlasted Lucas Taylor there. Does get the last laugh as the rebound goes out of bounds to Colgate.
Yeah, good job by Taylor just staying down and playing good D. And another guy, Cuff, you see Cuff, and he's another guy that's known as a really good defender. I think he's a guy who could put pressure on the ball and help the Syracuse team defensively as well.
Baseline out of bounds for Colgate. Woodward yet to get going offensively. So their leading scorer so far coming in averaging 15.5 points per game.
and you don't see those type of guys anymore. The old school back to the basket type centers.
Lampkin behind the back, ahead to Starling, who can't finish. Blake Forrest, the first-year player for Colgate. Among their first years, he plays the most. Stripped in the lane. Starling is called for a foul. It's his second. So 2 on Starling of Syracuse and Woodward of Colgate in this first half.
Yeah, they're just disconnected. You see right there, he's not trailing him off the curl. He tries to meet him right there in the middle, and you know he's meeting him in the middle of the paint where it's too late.
Chandler Baker to the line. Baker played at Division II Belmont Abbey before getting to Colgate, winning in his background. Had 3 points in 5 minutes in the game here a year ago. Cam Brennan, 7-footer from Canada, in for the first time. He did not play in the Drexel game. So maybe we would see a little more extension of the depth for Coach Langle and Colgate. Second free throw is spit out for Baker. Orange with the ball up 6, and Carlos back in to run the show.
You would think right here with the 7-foot freshman coming in, not getting a lot of playing time, that they would see that and go right into Lampkin.
Oh, what a pass. No look. Davis to Lampkin for the jam.
Hey, Davis showing a little bit. You see him showing the goggles, saying I can pass a little bit too, inside, outside, but I can also pass the ball. Great look right there by Davis, finished by Lampkin.
Eyes in the back of his head. Great play. Little fake. Forrest can't shed Carlos.
Great job by Taylor right there, pushing him off that curl.
Louis Jacques directing traffic, now on the go to the baseline. Carlesimo, quick trigger. He buries it from the corner. Kyle Carlesimo.
You got to give credit to Colgate, man. They're answering every single time Syracuse has something for them. They're coming right back.
Little short. Lampkin tried to tip it in. Davis not quite enough this time. Quick trigger, high in the air and down the middle for Chandler Baker. 2 triples for Baker. One of the few seniors on this team. And Colgate hanging in there. 2-point game with 4 to go in the first.
And you see what happens when they make quick baskets like that. It allows them to be able to get back and set their defense in the half court and make it harder for the Syracuse team.
Lampkin in pursuit off the Taylor miss. Could not save it. And with 3:47 to go in the first, the Orange by 2. Love to see big man to big man passing. How about this? Over the shoulder to the big fella. Those guys are on the money about bench scoring. That's because Jair Davis has carried a great deal of the load for the Cuse with a team high 8.
Yeah, picking up right where he left off against Lemoyne.
We'll see if Jeff Woodward can get going offensively for Colgate. They work it primarily around the perimeter to start. Good cut off the ball and an easy layup for Chandler Baker. Another missed assignment. Baker matches the season high with 9.
Yeah, another missed assignment, another missed rotation. You saw Eddie Lampkin just standing there looking. He has to rotate into the middle, and he's supposed to be there before that guy even goes.
Bell to Taylor. Pocket pass for Lampkin. Now Carlos the 3. He's got it.
And you love to see that from Carlos because you want to see him be aggressive trying to score the basketball as well. Yeah, you can get guys involved, but to keep the defense honest, you have to be aggressive looking to score.
First points of the game for Jaquan Carlos. Good scoop there, but it doesn't go for Jalen Cox. Bell, good find for Lampkin. Maybe a little too deep. And Taylor from long range. Lucas Taylor with his first 3 of the season.
And you know what? One thing that Lampkin is good at, he's good at keeping his eyes up and hitting the open player. And another example of it right there, Taylor knocking it down.
Colgate with an extra pass and rattling it down. Chandler Baker, first to double figures in the game.
Well, if you're going to leave anyone, it wouldn't be him. If you stick on that guy and you make Jones knock that down.
Had 3 3-pointers in the first 2 games combined. He's got 3 in the first 18 minutes of this game. Zone defense again for the Raiders. Jump stop, trying to find Bell. Taylor very short. And another empty trip for Syracuse.
You can't say enough about Coach Langle and just, how he has his guys prepared and how they execute on offense and defense. He's just a heck of a coach.
Stymied by the backboard. We'll see if the Orange can capitalize on this trip. Bell. That's what they were looking for. Shot doesn't go, and it's off of Freeman. Back to Colgate. They're trying to get Bell going. Bell has added the drive to his game a little bit. Just even that last trip, the idea that he drove into the paint, we have not seen a ton of that. He is an exceptional three-point shooter, and he lives in the corners there. But he's trying to add that element to his game as well. Yeah,
but sometimes you have to get yourself going. And how could you do that? On this side of the ball, get up, get some pressure defensively, get some deflections, get some rebounds, push the basketball. You have to be able to find ways to get yourself going.
Carlos, 4 on 5 at the moment. In the lane. Jaquan Carlos couldn't get the bounce. Offensive board as Freeman fights for it. Teddy Valentine's got a foul. And it's on Freeman with a Cuse.
You can't say enough right now about this kid, Jalen Cox. I mean, he's just playing aggressive on both ends of the floor. Good job being aggressive by Carlos. He's right at the rim. You got to be able to finish those. And Cox is just having a heck of a first half, man. He's being aggressive on both sides of the floor.
Jalen Cox played high school basketball at Loyola in LA with Parker Jones, who he starts with here at Colgate. They went their separate ways to prep school and have reunited at Colgate. Jones and Cox on the floor at the same time now. Woodward, the fifth year. Stepping back, Cox for 3. And over the back is Jones in the rebounding action. Second foul on Parker Jones.
And I think right here for Syracuse, just hold it for one shot. Don't give Colgate a lot of time coming back on the other end.
Not a lot of continuity to the Orange. They've been altering the lineup a great deal. Other than maybe Davis at a moment here or there, Chapa Morris maybe 3 times in a row. You don't really get a sense of great rhythm from anybody at this stage. The shot clock a little bit ahead of the game clock, and Syracuse does have a timeout that it cannot take to the second half anyway, and here they burn it with 18 seconds to go. Chance to draw something up. We saw in the Lemoyne game, not that the shots all...
Yeah, but you just got to give credit to Colgate, man. They're coming in with a lot of guys who haven't played significant minutes, and they're coming out here and competing at a high level.
Donnie Freeman to take it out at quarter court with 18 seconds to go on the shot clock at 14. Carlos not in a hurry. Foul to give by Jalen Cox. They've got another one of those if they choose. 9 seconds to play in the half.
Smart play by Cox right there.
And for that matter, Syracuse has fouls to give, so if Colgate does get the ball back, expect a Syracuse foul.
And that's a little detail of the game that's overlooked a lot. That's high IQ right there.
They're bringing Blake Forrest in to give the foul and putting Cox on the bench so that he's been a key player for them, that he doesn't get unnecessary foul trouble. They give it again here with 4.5 seconds to go.
It just makes
force you to restart, right?
Exactly. It's going to make it tougher on Syracuse and have less time to, figure something out.
Syracuse has gone 2.5 minutes without scoring. Carlos off the handoff from Lampkin to Freeman. Not there, and it's a scoring drought going into the break for the Orange. They scored the first 7 points of the half. Colgate led in the middle, and Syracuse fortunate to go into the half with a 36-33 lead. Colgate has won here before. They're not far off right now.
to get out and transition, get early opportunities, and then they have to lock in defensively.
Leading scorer for the Orange in the first half, Jair Davis off the bench, and he starts this second half on the bench as the Orange restore the game opening lineup. J.J. Starling had his moments. Chris Bell, though, yet to get in the scorebook. On the back door, trying to get Bell going. Yes, sir, with the dunk. A little more like it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we talked about. How can he get himself going? That's one way. You see Eddie, good job. He's a great passer, good backdoor cut, and bang out on him, Chris Bell.
Take a look from up top. Chris Bell, athletically gifted, extraordinary shooter. Had 2 rebounds, but a lot of zeros in his first half stat line. See if the second half is more in keeping with his 25-point game against the Raiders a year ago.
Yeah, he can't let making shots affect his overall game, and sometimes that's what he does.
Colgate was led in the first half by a nice spurt off the bench from Chandler Baker. They played a lot of that half with Jeff Woodward, now with the ball, 55 in red, on the bench. Jalen Cox has played a great game so far, and Carlos equal to the task at the rim this time. Johnny Freeman tripped up, and there's a whistle. Fouls on Colgate's Parker Jones, his third.
Yeah, you see right here Donnie coming out. I want to see Donnie getting more positions where he's being a threat. I think just on the perimeter it makes him less of a threat. Get him in that mid-range post area, jab, pull up, or just attack the rim and be strong.
There's a 3 off the inbounds for J.J. Starling.
Just have to see more of that from J.J. He just has to look to be aggressive. He should be getting 10 to 15 shots every single game.
They changed that last Colgate foul from Parker Jones to Jalen Cox, so now they each have 2. On the drive, Cummins to Jones. Jones is an outstanding shooter. He's got 2 threes in the game.
Well, you even see right there what set it up. A drive and kick. You know, J.J. let his guy get by him, then he has to help, then he kicks in the corner for a wide open shot.
Lampkin hasn't hit a 3 in his college career until right now. And almost gave up 2 right away. Orange fortunate that rolls off. Lampkin came down awkwardly. Starling on the counter strike. Boarded by Cummins. Lampkin is hobbled.
You got to finish that, but you love seeing J.J. being aggressive to the rim. He's showing his athletic ability.
Woodward turns to face, and it's knocked out of bounds. Lampkin figures to be a fan favorite, certainly a regular interactor. He's a showman.
Yeah, and you want to have passion when you're playing. You want to be able to get yourself going, and I'm okay with that. But defensively, they just have to string some consecutive stops together. They haven't been able to do that the whole game.
Lampkin with this rebound. He had 7 in the first half. Good take by Bell. Didn't finish. Louis Jacques at open 3. Oh, a putback bunny misses for Brady Cummins. Colgate's missed some opportunity. Hear me out. What if Lampkin wore in the second half blue on the left and orange on the right? Tough take right into the chest of Woodward, and Lampkin powers it through. That forces a timeout. Eddie Lampkin getting it going. Biggest lead of the game for the Orange, now 11. Eddie Lampkin lightening up the crowd. Last year averaged 7 and 6 with a Colorado team that made the NCAA tournament. Orange by 11, biggest lead of the game for the home team. Jeff Woodward yet to score. That's a big hole in Colgate's performance. Jalen Cox off the rim. Woodward this time against Lampkin. Still can't ring the bell. And Lampkin has that double-double we're talking about. Donnie Freeman. Boarded by Brady Cummins. The Orange do not have a point off a turnover or a fast break point yet in the game.
Yeah, not typical Syracuse basketball. Usually when you think Syracuse basketball, you think up-tempo with a lot of fast break points, but they've been doing it in the half court right now, and they're up 11. This is where they really should try to extend the lead, execute in the half court, and then get stops on the other end.
Horn set. Lampkin breathing a little heavy, it looks like, and the ball kicked by Woodward.
Well, for Syracuse to have success this season, he's going to have to play a lot of minutes, and that's just what it is. So he's going to have to get used to being out there a lot of minutes and playing a lot of minutes, man.
That was, for you, a big part of your game. You were 40 minutes on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just love to play basketball.
Obviously, big men don't typically do that, but anywhere.
But to have success, I think this Syracuse team, they need Eddie Lampkin out on the floor. He's a guy who could pass, he could score, and he's showing what he could do tonight.
Tough bucket there for Donnie Freeman, the Orange freshman with so much promise. Now a 13-point lead. Cummins, clear path to the basket.
Again, a blow by, no help on the baseline. Right when you see this guy getting by, that rotation has to be there outside of that block so you can draw that charge.
Lampkin against Woodard again. They rake it down with Cummins to get it out. 3-on-3 the other way. Cox against Carlos. Makes it look easy. First points of the half for Jalen Cox.
And again, Colgate, being down 11 but not going away, just coming back, being aggressive on defense, and then getting an easy opportunity on the other end.
Brick from Starling. See if Colgate can cut into the deficit here. Jones. Same team. Neither team exactly lighting it up. Syracuse 44% shooting, Colgate 37.
Yeah, but go where your money's been, and that's getting it down to Eddie and playing off of him.
Woodard had the 2 early fouls, no fouls yet this half. Starling on a little runner, gets to 10 points.
Or that. Just to put your head down and attack the basket. You're a stronger guard than these guys. You can play off the bump and just be in control on the finish.
Jones is confident on the dribble penetration. Freeman boards the miss there. Leak out for Bell. Look out below. Bell's not one to dunk a lot. Makes that basket, bringing up a Matt Langle timeout. The Orange have opened the lead now to 13. Their biggest of the game. Speaking, World of Wonder awaits inside the Myron Victory Court. So you can come in a couple hours before the game starts. There'll be food and beverage options and a lot more programming there down the road. Back to action here, and Colgate, who had its biggest deficit of the game at 13. Parker Jones knocks down. I'm sorry, Brady. Yes, it was Jones who knocks down the 3. Peter Majstorovic, just a brief run in the first half. Back into the game. Quick ball movement here. And Peter a floater in the lane.
Great job by Chopper Moore, just being aware of Peter right there in the middle, getting to him quick. Peter with the quick floater.
It's right the first time before Cummins made that last 3-pointer. Now Woodward in the paint against Majstorovic.
Great individual defense by Peter right there.
Big first half for Chandler Baker. He's getting his first second half run here. Low and left for Woodward. 5 on the timer against Jair Davis. Oh, muscles his way to the goal. Good bucket for Woodward. His first points of the night.
And Davis is strong, but Woodward is 280 pounds, so it's going to be a tough guard right there for Davis.
Long range shot for Jalen Cox. He's been impressive. 11 points for Cox. More than double his scoring output from a year ago here in the Dome. And Cox might be a nice surprise answer behind Braden Smith. A steal by Jones. And foul called on Majstorovic, getting Jones to the line. Points off turnovers heavily in favor of Colgate in this game. And Syracuse unable to get back defensively in this situation.
Yeah, just sloppy right there on the other end, and then like we saw a lot tonight, Colgate getting a lot of transition opportunities and another opportunity for 2 at the line. I mean, you still wondering where that sense of urgency is for Syracuse on the defensive side of the ball. If you're up 13 points, you want to try to extend that to 15 and then to 17 and then 20. You don't want to keep going back and forth. This Colgate team is good, but you have Texas coming up, then you have Tennessee coming up, and then obviously you're getting into conference play in the ACC. Playing like this, going back and forth, is not going to get them a lot of wins going into conference play, playing against those big-time teams.
Yeah, you'll get exposed by that level of talent that awaits. Texas at the Barclays Center, part of a 2-game trip. Then the Orange also played Tennessee. We met them last year in the Maui Invitational. This time around it is the ACC SEC Challenge. A game to be played in Knoxville. Colgate's got a very difficult pre-conference schedule as well. Up next for them at NC State. They play Kentucky on the road later this year too. A deflected pass out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cuse. Shot clock at 8.
Now, right now, you see this lineup: no J.J. Starling, no Eddie Lampkin. I mean, I guess you'd say your go-to guy is Davis, but who's going to be the guy that steps up? Chris Bell, he's a guy that will probably do a lot of the heavy scoring, but who's it going to be?
Good find in there, but the handle lost by Majstorovic. Moore gets it back and beats the buzzer. 6 points for Chopper Moore.
I tell you what, I just like his energy, his enthusiasm.
A little spunk, doesn't he?
And he doesn't really let things get to him. You know, he makes a mistake, he runs back, he hustles back on the defensive side, and he just gets ready to play again.
Goes out to defend Cummins, who gets around and into the lane, finding the 3-point shooter, Chandler Baker, his 4th of the game.
That's one thing that he does have to be able to do better is guard the ball. And numerous times in the Lemoyne game, in this game, he's getting blowed by. And
Moore again. The long deuce spit out by the rim. I like Brady Cummins. He can be a factor in the Patriot League this year. Good discard. Open look. Missed this time by Baker and put back in. First points tonight for Sam Wright. Timeout Adrian Autry at 11:23 to go. So Colgate, who trailed by 13 just a moment ago, is on a nice run. They've knocked down 5 of the last 6 shots. They're on a 12-2 run over the last 2 minutes.
See right here, Chopper Moore with a great look. Mishandled, picks it up, knocks it down. The Colgate is not going away. Chandler Baker knocking it down. See, they're giving Chopper Moore some time at the point, bringing the ball up.
Now playing to get the pass from Starling and set up Lampkin. Up the elevator and denied by Woodward near the rim. Colgate can take the lead. Baker. Around the rim and off and boarded by Bell. Quiet here in the Dome. People are kind of anxious about what they've seen so far through a game in 3 quarters. Davis, big first half. Goes back to the well maybe one time too many.
Yeah, again, just settling for jump shots. Be aggressive, put your head down, get to the rim. When they do it, it seems to work out for them.
Colgate's missed a bunch of layups. Though with the spin, Lampkin thought about it. Did hit a 3 in the first half, the only one of his college career.
Just stagnant right now offensively. Everybody's standing around.
Moore off the cross-court action, and Davis impeded on his way to the rebound. Foul against Colgate.
There's just no movement off the ball. There's nobody cutting to the basket. Yeah, just tangled up. We're playing ball. It's going to be a little bit physical. That's fine.
So Cummins exits with 2 personals. Nicholas Louis-Jacques starting 2-guard back in for the Raiders along with Sam Wright. Bell from the elbow. Davis. Well, Woodward gets the last laugh with the rebound, and again Colgate could tie or take the lead.
It just seems on both ends, a lot of missed layups, a lot of easy opportunities.
Cox could have been an and one. Again, didn't get the layup, but J.J. Starling's 3rd personal will send him to the line.
Again, right here, you see Cox. He has been living in the paint. I mean, It's fortunate for Syracuse that he hasn't been able to connect on a lot of those, but he has been getting there anytime that he wants.
So Jalen Cox to the line. 6 of 7 on the season through the first 2 games. And Cox very short on that try. Speedy player with a track background. And has not been intimidated at all on this stage tonight.
We talked about it early on. Like, this Colgate team is coming in with a different mindset. It used to be like, oh, we're coming here, it's going to be a loss. They're coming in here thinking they're going to win the game.
And when you go to the tournament every year, and very frequently they're competitive in those games, Syracuse hasn't been to the tournament as regularly as Colgate has. They play in big-time environments. They also play with the pressure in March of having to win their conference tournament, typically finished on Cotterill Court. Bell on the drive. And Bell got walled off. Foul called, though. It's on Woodward, his 3rd.
Again, we talked about not settling. Pump fake, putting your head down, getting to the lane. Either you're going to get a good opportunity at the basket or you're going to draw a foul.
Chris immediately grabbed his right ankle. Chris is a guy who doesn't seem to get his blood pressure up too high in any situation either, so calm at this moment, looking to give the Orange some breathing room.
Yeah, he's an even keel guy, but sometimes you want to see a little bit more out of him. You know, just be a little bit more aggressive. We know you can shoot the ball, but it's okay to show a little bit of motion, a little bit of passion. You care about the game. The guys have to communicate on those pick and rolls. Tell you what, Chopper Moore has to be careful going under that on Baker. He's going to knock that down next time.
Going wide to Davis, opposite for Bell from 18. Book it. So Bell scoring all in the second half, 9 points.
Right now, this is where you get up. This is where you get up. You get up and you put a little bit more pressure defensively. The crowd's trying to get behind you. They're trying to give you some energy.
Cox, sweep. Cox, a new season high. His career high is 15 against Bucknell last year. He's at 14 right now.
Matt, just a step late on those curls coming off the handoffs. You see guys 2-3 steps behind. They're going to have an open shot every single time.
Bell from a standstill. That's his happy play, is shooting from the corner. First 3 of the game for Chris Bell.
Okay, now get a stop right here. Lock in. Get a stop on this end.
Moore digging down on the Baker pass and tipping it out of the baseline. The officials agree. It's Syracuse basketball. Took a while for one of the Orange's most talented scorers to get going, but Chris Bell is in the 3-point column, and the Cuse leads by 6.
It'd be good to see him when he gets out here.
Syracuse by 6. The Orange have led by as many as 13, but Colgate not going away. Eddie Lampkin had a nice run at the start of the half. Jair Davis yet to score since halftime, and Chris Bell's gotten all of his points this period. Wanted a foul there, didn't get it, and Colgate a chance to cut the lead in half. They'll cut it to 2/3 here with the take right to the goal.
Man,
Jalen Cox, impressive.
He is a blur. You talked about his track background, you could tell.
Cox has been with the accelerator down from the start of this game. Carlos maybe gets to show a little more. Let's see if he gets the offense going. Lampkin to Moore. Again at the end of the shot clock. He's done that twice. He's got a little bounce in his step, right? I don't know if we can say that about everybody at this stage.
Yeah, after not scoring in the first game in Lemoyne, playing limited minutes, it's good to see him get out here, be active on both ends of the floor, and helping the Cuse extend that lead.
Bodies on the floor. Woodward on the repost. Strong against Lampkin.
Yeah, he talked about his footwork. I mean, he's spinning, he's pump faking, he's finishing at the rim. I mean, he's going to be a psychology. I don't know.
Clinical psychologist.
Yeah,
we can.
Clinical psychologist.
Get a little more time. We can go into his studies. Chopamore off the bracket for Parker Jones. Again, the Orange don't get back. Got to keep up with Jalen Cox. My goodness. New career high 18 for Jalen Cox, and the Orange are walking up the floor.
He's a guy that you have to meet early. And Matt, you would figure this is the tempo that favors Colgate right here. They want to have more half-court possessions and make them execute in the half-court.
Lampkin given some space. Spins into Woodward and gets it to go.
A good job right there by Eddie, eating up the space that was given to him by Woodward and just attacking the basket.
Double-double for Lampkin in his second dome game. Colgate fans, you can hear, want Cox to go to the bucket, and he obliges. Jalen Cox can't be stopped. He's the first to 20 in the game.
Well, you can't let a guy like that just dribble the ball at the top of the key and get a full head of steam down at you like that. You got to be able to pressure him. You push him to the side. You hedge out.
That is downhill. And the Orange are screening less, am I right? And they're spreading the floor a great deal more. There's one from Lampkin. Fakes the handoff to go in against Woodward again. And Orange use all of the shot clock, but are unable to score. Big trip here for Colgate. Cox to a cutting Jones. Could have had the tie. Oh, and a foul. Woodward, they think, got hit. Instead, he picks up his fourth personal. Matt Langle's team could have tied the game with 4.5 minutes to go.
I mean, I don't know. That's pretty fortunate for Syracuse right there. He's just playing the ball. Yeah, that was a pretty fortunate call for Syracuse.
So 4 fouls for Woodward, who's not been himself tonight because of foul trouble from the get-go. Jair Davis against Louis Jacques. Lampkin in too deep, on the floor for it. Wants a timeout to preserve the possession. Instead, the held ball, and the arrow goes Colgate's way. He was trying to call timeout. Syracuse has just one left, though. I'm not sure that would be very well advised in case this goes down to maybe a one-possession game late. You want that timeout then. In this case, the arrow favors the visitors. I might have ruled that he didn't have possession.
Yeah, he didn't.
Timeout.
Yeah, I don't even think he had possession.
Cox for the lead. Offensive board. Deflected pass. Can Louis Jacques save it? He cannot. And that is a Colgate turnover within 2 of the lead. 3:47 to go. Colgate has beaten Syracuse in the Dome 2 of the last 3 years when it was 16-14 on the midway point of the first half. Big trip here for Syracuse, too, to get to a 2-possession game. Set play off the timeout. To set up Starling with his right hand. That's what you want, Starling going to the basket.
That's what we haven't really said JJ's name a lot in the second half, but he's more than capable of just putting his shoulder down in his chest and finishing at the rim like you saw there.
Little bump on the drive by Cox. Gets him 2 at the line. The foul on Starling is his 4th. So 1 key player on each side with 4 personal fouls.
Matt, he's not doing anything fancy. He's just putting his head down and using his speed and getting by guys. He's getting the angle, and then he's creating an opportunity at the rim every time down the floor.
Cox, who was a starter for the second half of the season last year due to the injury to Nicolas Louis-Jacques, has shown nicely tonight. 13 points in their loss on the weekend at Drexel, and has been in command in this game. Very impressive for the Colgate sophomore. Around the rim and a missed opportunity there. It's still a 3-point game.
You would think right here, you just go right back to JJ. Just look to be aggressive to the rim.
Lampkin to a cutting Bell. In traffic. Chris Bell with the deuce. Backdoor. Juggled, and Cummins couldn't get it there. So that's another example of where Colgate has left some on the table.
And it was really Syracuse again. It was fortunate. JJ was late rotating. They just mishandled the ball. If he would have caught it clean, he would have went up and it would have been an easy layup.
Syracuse by 5 as Starling brings it up under 3 minutes to play. Nothing easy for the Orange yet this year. They've got Youngstown State in the Dome Saturday before heading to New York. That'll ratchet up the intensity for sure at Barclays Center against a ranked Texas team. Starling to Lampkin. It hit the side of the board. Lampkin didn't get up to it. Louis-Jacques leads it the other way. Bell had him lined up, but it's a foul. Score the goal. Bell just grabbed the rim as he whiffed on the block shot attempt. Can't do that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what.
That's giving him 2 and potentially 3.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on right there. I don't know what was.
Louis-Jacques could make it a 2-point game. Colgate fans all around the nation smelling another win here in the Dome. Syracuse had beaten the Raiders 54 times in a row dating back to the 60s. Colgate's taken 2 of 3, and last year Syracuse had to rally from 24 down to stop that little losing skid. Lampkin trying to take over as we hit the 2-minute mark. Here's where that question, who's the go-to man? Starling nearly turned it over. Not everybody heard the whistle. Foul is called on Colgate's Jalen Cox, his 3rd.
It's just hard to play against a set defense in the half court every single time down the floor. That's what Syracuse, they had to play like this the whole game. Every single time down the floor, they had to play against a set defense.
Fast break points. That was Chris Bell who scored them.
And it was late in the second half when they did that.
Shot fake for Bell. Orange patient here as the shot clock gets to single digits. We talk about who's going to be the guy that's going to hit a big shot late in the game. Backdoor for Davis. Lost it going up. That's been a theme of the night. Huge trip here for Colgate. And they draw a foul. Cox, again, has been the best player on the floor. And he's fouled out Starling, perhaps. It is the 5th on JJ. Here's the blur coming the other way.
Yeah,
Cox is dominating.
It's just putting pressure on him, just forcing him to make a play on the ball, and he's been doing it the whole game.
So Starling is done with 1:30 remaining. Syracuse loses one of its veteran go-to players on the offensive end, and Colgate once again could tie or take the lead with 90 seconds remaining. Woodward to Cox, who's been their leader in every way. Woodward open in the lane against Lampkin for the tie. Woodward's got it. Just a half dozen points, and it's 72 all.
No rotation on the weak side at all.
Syracuse fans have their hearts in their throats. Once again, too close for comfort. Can Carlos make a play? To the freshman Moore. How about Bell to take over? Into Lampkin. He's got it. And the Orange have the lead back. Colgate has 2 timeouts. Syracuse 1. And now Matt Langle wants a moment to draw something up here with 43 seconds remaining.
Yeah, you see right here, no weak side help. Chris Bell has to come over and meet him in the middle right there.
The Orange fortunate to get the lead back as they go inside into Lampkin off the Bell feed. Lampkin, great position in that case, right? And as you're talking about, you got to have that attention to detail at both ends of the floor. The Orange absolutely need a stop here. Syracuse leads by 2. The Orange do have a foul to give, as Colgate did at the end of the first half. So as Colgate thinks about what's next, their creator has been Jalen Cox. Do you see him penetrating, or they look elsewhere?
Absolutely. So there's 2 things that you do. You can play off Woodward, or you can play off the best player in the game tonight, which is Cox. I'm giving the ball to Cox and just letting him with the head of steam going downhill. I mean, he's been doing it all night.
As usual, Ted Valentine with a little extra message and a smile, in this case for Jeff Woodward. Probably wishing Jeff well. Jeff has a presentation to the entire Colgate coaching staff tomorrow, all sports, on his recent studies about approaching mental health awareness among college athletes. Back to action here. Biggest possession of the game for Colgate, down 2. Jones for Cox with 12 on the timer. Jones in the lane. Louis Jacques for the lead. Halfway down. Loose ball to Davis. And he's bumped. A foul's called on Louis Jacques. His first. Another one in the broken floor where the Orange get the whistle in their favor.
And really, Matt, they got what they wanted. I mean, they got a
good-looking shot. It wasn't from Cox. But a Louis Jacques 3 is an outstanding shooter, 40% from three-point range coming into this game. He had not made one tonight. And so Syracuse could make it a 2-possession game with Jair Davis at the line. He has 1 of 2 at the stripe in the game, but no attempts this half. Officials are at the scorer's table to get the clock to the right decimal point. Conversing with Mike Markinson on the replay to get it done as Coach Langle thinks about what's next.
You just got to give credit to Coach Langle, man. And these guys were down 13. Syracuse was hitting them in the mouth, and then they just kept playing. They kept playing. And we talked about early on, a lot of these Colgate guys have not played significant minutes at all. So for them to come out here and continue to play and continue to compete, super impressive, this Colgate team tonight.
Clock's adjusted to 23.1 seconds. And Syracuse breaks its huddle with a couple of veterans but non-starters on this team on the floor. Jair Davis at the line, Lucas Taylor out there as well. As coaches will tell you, it's not always about who starts but who finishes. So they do have players who have been through all kinds of these types of games. Davis, we mentioned, really cranked up his free throw shooting last year, 81%. The year prior, just 66%. And the Orange need them both here to make it a 2-possession game.
Yeah, and this isn't a definite. We talked about them missing 11 free throws last game against Lemoyne.
Now they blow the whistle just to get everybody lined up. So a pressure moment for Davis. And on a 1-on-1, he misses. Colgate with the ball, and again a chance to tie or take the lead.
Get up, give him a little pressure.
Cox around the Woodward screen against Lampkin for the tie. No, big board inside Davis. And he's fouled.
Big boy board. I tell you what, Davis, he did it against Lemoyne. He did it tonight against Colgate.
They again get what they want here. They've got Cox going downhill around the Woodward screen against Lampkin.
Yeah, good job probing. I mean, he had a wide open shot mid-range, and man, Davis went high up there above the rim to grab it.
Again, when you do have the veteran players, they know that this is how you win and close out games. And Davis, who was a 2-year starter, he came off the bench in these 2 games here for the Orange. The previous 2 seasons, 63 starts and not off the bench at all. So now to the line, and he's got that same scenario.
You got to knock these down. I mean, simple as that. You just have to make free throws. You make these 2 right here, you win the game.
Again, it is a 1-and-1, not a 2-shot foul, so he's got to make the first. First, more or less ensures no worse than overtime for Syracuse. But no good again. Offensive board, Taylor. And timeout taken with just 5 seconds left. Syracuse's final timeout.
Matt, they need to take, they took 20 minutes at the end of practice. They might need to take 30 or 40 at the end to work on their free throw.
Davis only 1 of 4. Not a timeout there, so he was able to cover up the ball and draw the foul. Looked like he was attempting to call timeout and got aided by the foul call. So Syracuse does have 1 timeout remaining, and now Lucas Taylor gets his chance to close out the game. That's no good. 4 seconds left. Cox at midcourt. Ahead, Louis Jacques stumbles, and the Orange can finally exhale. And they've built another winning streak against Colgate. 2 years in a row, if you can believe it. Syracuse 2-0 by the hair of their chinny chin chin.
And I tell you what, Colgate had too many of these the whole game. A lot of bobbled balls, missed opportunities, missed layups. Whole game, and Syracuse did a good job of just pulling it out.
Well, game of inches, and there will be a lot of hand-wringing and consternation here around town as the Orange are 2-0 with lots of room for improvement. They've got Youngstown State coming in next, completely revamped roster there before going to New York. The Orange in need of a tune-up. Thanks to Kristen Hennessy and David Taska, the entire crew back in the control room. For Eric Diebendorf, I'm Matt Parks saying so long, the Orange.